This video is really something special. Maybe you've seen a lot of videos about Stoicism, but let me tell you, this one is different. It offers many ideas and perspectives that are rarely found, so I would like to ask you to look at it very carefully. There is valuable wisdom in the words you will hear. We even recommend that you watch the video several times, because you might discover something new each time. You should also take careful notes on each principle we explain to you. These timeless lessons could help you live a more fulfilling and meaningful life. So without delay, let's get started and explore the 50 Stoic principles that could change your perspective on life. Take this chance to learn how to better manage your emotions. Principle 1. Learn to distinguish what you can control. The ability to differentiate between what we can control and what is beyond our control is the key to inner peace. Epictetus, a wise Stoic, urges us to act with a clear mind rather than drowning in a sea of worries. Imagine you are a helmsman on a stormy sea. You can't control the waves or the wind, but you can steer your ship. Modern science confirms that by concentrating on our area of action, we not only reduce stress, but also strengthen our decision-making ability. When we accept that life is unpredictable, we gain amazing freedom. Principle 2. Virtue as a guide. What really makes a life meaningful? The Stoics answer, virtue. Virtue is not just a moral compass, but a source of contentment and self-respect. Seneca advises us to live in accordance with our innermost values rather than chasing fleeting approval from the world. It's as if you have an inner flame that guides you. It burns brighter not through the applause of others, but through loyalty to yourself. Modern studies show that people who practice virtues such as honesty, courage, and compassion are more fulfilled. By basing our actions on virtues, we not only build a strong foundation for our own lives, but also inspire others to do the same. Principle 3. The power of self-discipline. Self-discipline is like a muscle that helps us overcome obstacles and achieve our goals. Epictetus teaches us that true freedom lies not in being able to do whatever we want, but in not being controlled by our whims. Imagine a gardener patiently tending to his garden, pulling weeds, watering the plants, and making sure they get enough sun. So is self-discipline, the conscious cultivation of our minds and our habits. Modern psychologists show that self-discipline enables us to pursue long-term goals and improve our quality of life. When we control our impulses rather than being controlled by them, we open the door to a more fulfilling life. Principle 4. The transience of life is fleeting, like a grain of sand trickling through our fingers. Mark Aurelius urges us not to dwell on the past or fear the future, but rather to embrace the present with open arms. By accepting impermanence, we learn to recognize what is important and appreciate every moment. Imagine you are holding a glass of water in your hand. It is cool, refreshing, and invigorating, but you know it won't be there forever, and that's exactly what makes it valuable. Gratitude for the here and now gives our lives depth and meaning. Principle 5. Practice empathy. Empathy is the golden thread that connects us to one another. The Stoics taught that we are part of a larger whole, and that by understanding the perspectives of others, we enrich our own lives. Epictetus's words remind us that empathy begins with self-knowledge. Knowing who we are allows us to be more understanding of others. Modern research shows that empathy not only improves the quality of our relationships, but also makes us happier. Imagine looking at the world through the eyes of a child. You see their joy, their worries, and their hopes. This conscious empathy for others makes us better friends, partners, and fellow human beings. Principle 6. Choose your response. There is a precious moment of freedom between what happens and how we react. Viktor Frankl, inspired by the Stoics, taught that even under the most difficult conditions, our response is within our power. It's like a spark flashing in the darkness. This moment gives us the chance to act consciously instead of reacting reflexively. Modern psychology confirms that this conscious power of choice not only makes us more emotionally resilient, but can also transform our lives in positive ways. In this space of choice lies the potential for growth, healing, and shaping our own story. Principle 7. Embrace simplicity. A simple life is a life full of clarity and contentment. The Stoics, particularly Seneca, recognized that too much possession and unnecessary complexity burdened the mind. Seneca's wisdom that we often get in our own way encourages us to courageously let go of the things that don't truly make us happy. Imagine you are carrying a heavy backpack. If you throw off the unnecessary baggage, you can move forward more freely and easily. Research shows that minimalism not only reduces stress, but also creates space for what really matters, like relationships, experiences, and personal fulfillment. Principle 8. The value of reflection. Self-reflection is an internal compass that helps us align our decisions with our values. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his diary every day to clarify his thoughts and focus on what was important. His words remind us that we are naturally more resilient than we think. Think of reflection as a calm lake reflecting the sky. When the water is calm, you can see clearly. Regular self-examination gives us the strength not only to overcome challenges, but also to learn from them. Principle 9. Willingness to change is not something we should fear. It is at the heart of life. Epictetus taught that our response to the world is more important than what happens to us. Imagine a plant leaning towards the light. It adapts, grows, and thrives. Similarly, with the right attitude, we can grow even in difficult times. Modern studies show that flexibility in thinking and acting leads to greater well-being and success. By seeing change as an opportunity, we transform challenges into opportunities. Principle 10. The importance of the present moment. The present is a gift that we often overlook, while our thoughts dwell on the past or future. Marcus Aurelius calls on us to use the current time instead of distracting ourselves from uncertainties. Imagine you are holding a flower in your hand. Its beauty is only there now, not yesterday and not tomorrow. Mindfulness allows us to fully enjoy these moments, which psychologists say leads to greater happiness and less stress. By living in the here and now, we find peace and fulfillment. Principle 11. Gratitude as a pillar. Gratitude is like a window that lets light into our lives. The Stoics reminded us that everything we have is fleeting, and that's what makes it so precious. Seneca's words that life is a loan invite us to look with humility and joy at what we have been given. Modern studies show that regularly practicing gratitude increases life satisfaction and improves emotional well-being. Imagine keeping a journal where you write down 3 things you are grateful for every day. It's a small habit with a big impact. Principle 12. Embrace vulnerability. Accepting our vulnerability is a courageous act of self-love. Epictetus encourages us to make peace with our weaknesses rather than being ashamed of them. When we allow ourselves to be imperfect, we free ourselves from the pressure to be perfect. Psychological research shows that self-acceptance is an important step to finding inner peace and resilience. Imagine you are a tree with weathered bark. These imperfections are what make you unique and strong. Principle 13. Community matters. No man is an island, as the Stoics emphasized. Our relationships and belonging to a community enrich our lives in countless ways. Seneca's suggestion that wisdom belongs to all of us invites us to share our knowledge and support. Imagine being part of an orchestra. Everyone plays their own instrument, but together you create a beautiful melody. Studies show that strong social bonds lead to greater happiness, better health, and a longer life. Principle 14. Moderation in all things. Moderation is the key to a balanced life. The Stoics taught that excess, whether in food, possessions, or emotions, can disrupt our harmony. Epictetus advises us to be grateful for what we have rather than relentlessly striving for more. Imagine watering a plant. Too much water drowns it. Too little causes it to dry out. Psychological research shows that a balanced life not only makes us healthier, but also happier. Principle 15. Serenity in adversity. Challenges are tests of our character. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that it is through adversity that we grow and come to know ourselves better. Serenity in difficult times is like a calm rock in a raging storm, unshakable and stable. The modern psychology of resilience shows that through a calm, determined attitude, we can not only overcome stress, but also emerge stronger from it. Imagine you are a river finding your way around obstacles, not through resistance, but through adaptation. Principle 16. Simplicity as elegance. The beauty of simplicity lies in its ability to create clarity and focus. Epictetus taught that things do not have to be complex to be significant. Design psychology shows that a reduced environment can not only increase our creativity, but also our well-being. Imagine walking into a bright, tidy room. No clutter distracts you and your mind feels free. A simple life does not mean renunciation, but rather the liberation of the superfluous so that we can concentrate on the true essence. Principle 17. Strength in adversity. Adversity is like a forge that shapes and strengthens us. Seneca's words remind us that we do not have to be victims of circumstances, but can become their designers. Challenges are opportunities to develop courage, patience, and resilience. Imagine you are a tree growing against the wind. Adversity makes you more resilient. The psychology of resilience shows that those who view obstacles as learning opportunities are stronger and happier in the long run. Principle 18. The wisdom of listening. Listening is more than hearing words. It is understanding, empathizing, learning. Epictetus teaches us that true wisdom often lies in the silence of listening. Imagine listening to a river. Every sound tells you something about its depth and current. Active listening not only strengthens our relationships, but also opens up new perspectives. Psychological studies show that people who truly listen experience deeper connections and more fulfilling conversations. Principle 19. Authenticity and honesty. Being authentic means staying true to yourself without fear of judgment or masks of hypocrisy. Epictetus emphasizes that true freedom lies in living our lives in accordance with our values. Imagine that you are a clear mirror. You show what you really are, without distortion. Authenticity and honesty not only create inner peace, but also strengthen trust and connection with others. Principle 20. Mastery over emotions. Emotions are like a wild river. Without guidance, they can overwhelm us, but with control, they become a powerful resource. St. Mark Aurelius reminds us that our thoughts are the key to regulating our emotions. By thinking more consciously about our reactions, we can find our emotional balance. Imagine steering a sailboat. You can't control the wind, but you can set the sails to go in the direction you want. Principle 21. Delayed gratification. Art of waiting for rewards is an investment in the future. Epictetus's teaching on temptation reminds us that patience and self-control bring us greater and more lasting success. Imagine planting a tree. You have to wait for it to grow, but the fruit it bears later is all the sweeter. Research shows that people who can wait for rewards are often more successful and happier. Principle 22. The strength of resilience. Resilience is the ability to keep going despite setbacks. Mark Aurelius teaches us that we should not sink to the level of those who wrong us. Challenges are tests that shape us and show us what we are capable of. Imagine you are a river meandering around rocks. Resistance does not make you weaker, but rather finds you a new path. Resilience allows us to not only survive, but also thrive. Principle 23. Continuous self-assessment. The practice of self-assessment is like a compass that keeps us on the right path. Epictetus encouraged us to regularly examine our words and actions to ensure they are consistent with our values. Imagine polishing a mirror. The clearer it is, the more clearly you see yourself. This reflection helps us promote our growth and remind us of our goals. Principle 24. Self-compassion. Self-compassion means treating ourselves with the same kindness we would treat a loved one. Seneca reminds us that adversity is inevitable, but it teaches us to be patient with ourselves. Imagine holding a fragile flower in your hand. Just as you hold it carefully, you can also take care of your own well-being. Self-compassion promotes healing and inner peace, especially during difficult times. Principle 25. The importance of continuing education. Learning is a lifelong process that enriches and inspires us. Epictetus emphasized that knowledge and wisdom are of value not only to ourselves, but also to others. Imagine lighting a candle. Its light can light other candles without making you shine any less. Continuous education opens doors to new perspectives and strengthens our understanding of ourselves and the world. Principle 26. Empathy toward others. Empathy is the key that opens hearts and builds bridges between people. The Stoics recognize that true empathy connects us more deeply with others. Seneca emphasized that every person is valuable and deserves respect. Imagine walking in someone else's shoes. You feel their joys, their worries, their challenges. Empathy is not only an act of kindness, but also a way to recognize ourselves in the diversity of human experiences. It strengthens communities and helps resolve misunderstandings and conflicts. Principle 27. Mental discipline. A disciplined mind is like a calm lake. It remains clear even when storms arise. Epictetus urged us to let go of what we cannot control and focus our energy on what is within our power. The practice of mental discipline helps us let go of destructive thoughts and organize our thinking. Imagine you are a gardener removing weeds from your garden so the flowers can grow. With a disciplined mind, we can live more mindfully and balanced lives. Principle 28. Diversity as a teacher. Difficulties are like a rough sea that teaches us to navigate better. The Stoics saw adversity not as an enemy, but as a teacher. Mark Aurelius showed that trials reveal our true strength. Imagine you are standing in front of a high mountain. The climb is strenuous, but the view from the top rewards every effort. Adversity strengthens our resilience and gives us wisdom. It forces us to pause, reflect, and grow so that we ultimately emerge stronger. Principle 29. Consistency in virtue. A virtuous life is a lighthouse in stormy waters. For the Stoics, virtue was the core of a fulfilling existence. It is not just a one-time goal, but an ongoing practice. Imagine you are a blacksmith, working the same metal over and over again to perfect it. Virtue is also a continuous work on ourselves. It gives us orientation, even in morally difficult situations, and allows us to live authentically and at peace with ourselves. Principle 30. Effective communication. The ability to communicate clearly and compassionately is essential for deep connections. Epictetus emphasized that words should have a beauty that surpasses silence. Imagine you are a musician carefully choosing the notes to create a harmonious melody. This is how we should choose our words, with care, respect, and the desire to be understood. Clear and empathetic communication opens doors, resolves conflicts, and strengthens relationships. Principle 31. Detachment from results. Striving for perfection can overwhelm us. Other Stoics encourage us to focus on the here and now, rather than depending on results. Mark Aurelius taught that true value lies in effort, not recognition. Imagine planting a seed. You nurture it without having control over its growth. This detachment gives us peace, as we learn to appreciate the process rather than letting external expectations dictate us. Principle 32. Physical self-discipline. A healthy mind resides in a healthy body. The Stoics recognized that physical discipline was a foundation for mental well-being. Epictetus described the body as a vessel of the soul that needs to be cared for. Imagine your body as a tool that you carefully sharpen and maintain so that it serves you well. Exercise, a balanced diet, and adequate rest are not burdens but rather acts of self-respect. Principle 33. The psychology of self-control. Self-control is like an anchor in a stormy sea. The Stoics taught that we must curb our emotions and desires in order to live a fulfilling life. Epictetus reminded us that freedom is achieved through mastery over ourselves. Imagine holding the reins of a strong horse. With control, you can direct its energy and achieve great things. Self-control allows us to resist temptation and make decisions that are consistent with our long-term goals. Principle 34. The psychology of morality. A moral life is a light that illuminates ourselves and others. The Stoics believed that integrity in our actions was at the core of contentment. Epictetus showed that our lives are shaped by our beliefs. Imagine that you are a painter. painting every decision with a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. Living a moral life means shaping that canvas with honesty, courage, and kindness, so that it gives hope not only to us but also to others. Principle 35. Mindfulness in daily routine. Mindfulness transforms the smallest moments into sources of joy and meaning. Epictetus recommended that even everyday actions be carried out with attention. Imagine drinking a cup of tea and noticing every nuance of the taste, the warmth, and the scent. Mindfulness is the conscious experience of the moment that helps us reduce stress and perceive life more intensively. She teaches us that there is deep beauty in even the simplest actions. Principle 36. Time management. Time is the only resource that can never be renewed. The Stoics saw time management as an art that makes our lives meaningful and productive. Mark Aurelius warned about how easily we waste our time through carelessness. Imagine you are an architect carefully placing every stone in your life's building. Planning and organization help us set priorities and focus on what's important. By using our time consciously, we can achieve our goals, nurture our relationships, and minimize the stress that comes from clutter. Principle 37. Generosity. And kindness. Generosity is a bridge that connects people to one another. The Stoics understood that kindness enriches not only the receiver, but also the giver. Seneca compared life to a play in which quality is more important than duration. Generosity gives us the opportunity to fill the slice of our lives with meaningful actions. Imagine lighting a candle. Its light illuminates the room without dimming its flame. Kindness creates a chain reaction of positivity and makes the world a better place. Principle 38. Humility and success. Success without humility is like a tree without roots. It can easily fall. The Stoics recognize that humility keeps us grounded as we strive for progress. Epictetus emphasized that we should focus on what is within our control. Imagine that you are a river that flows calmly and steadily, despite its strength. Humility protects us from arrogance and helps us learn from mistakes. She reminds us that true success lies in the constant pursuit of improvement, not in external glamour. Principle 39. Understanding impermanence. Life is fleeting, and that's what makes it so valuable. The Stoics taught that awareness of impermanence leads us to appreciate the moment. Marcus Aurelius explained that everything we own today will eventually be passed on. Imagine your life is a sand painting on the beach. Waves will eventually erase it, but its value lies in its beauty. Accepting impermanence helps us let go of what we cannot control and live each moment with gratitude. Principle 40. Virtue. Is the greatest wealth. Virtue is like an inner treasure that can never be lost. The Stoics viewed virtue as the highest good that makes us independent of external circumstances. Seneca taught that true wealth lies in not desiring more. Imagine you are a gardener who carefully tends your soil. The harvest is a reflection of your ethical choices. A virtuous life gives us contentment and frees us from the pursuit of material possessions that can never ensure our long-term happiness. Principle 41. The value of simplicity. A simple life is like a clear sky. There is room for light and air. The Stoics encouraged us to free ourselves from unnecessary baggage and concentrate on what is important. Epictetus reminded us that true freedom begins with the acceptance that we cannot control everything. Imagine carrying only a light backpack on a long trip. With every unnecessary item you take off, you feel freer. Simplicity is about prioritizing and enjoying life to its essence. Principle 42. The importance of personal authenticity. Authenticity is like a compass that guides us on the path to a fulfilling life. Mark Aurelius urged us to love the life we live and to trust our journey. Imagine you are an artist creating your unique masterpiece, your life. By staying true to ourselves, we can act with integrity and live our lives in a way that aligns with our values and beliefs. Principle 43. Tolerance of ambiguity. Uncertainty is part of life, and tolerance of ambiguity is the ability to remain calm in the midst of change. The Stoics taught that wisdom lies in being open to the unknown. Seneca emphasized that the wise man is ready to receive what life brings. Imagine you are a surfer mastering the waves of the ocean. You can't control the waves, but you can learn to ride them. Flexibility in uncertain situations strengthens our resilience and adaptability. Principle 44. Meaning and passion in life. A life with meaning and passion is like a fire that warms and lights us up. The Stoics emphasize that a clear purpose in life gives us direction. Epictetus encouraged us to first define who we want to be and then take decisive action. Imagine you are a hiker using the polar star as a guide. It gives you direction and support, even in the dark. A purposeful life fills us with joy and energy. Principle 45. Personal responsibility. Responsibility is like a steering wheel that gives us control over our lives. The Stoics taught that we are responsible for our decisions and actions, regardless of external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that complaining doesn't get us anywhere, but taking action does. Imagine you are a captain steering your ship through rough waters. Taking responsibility makes you the designer of your own life. Principle 46. The power of positive communication. Positive communication is like a seed that allows trust and harmony to grow. The Stoics recognized that our words have power. They can connect or hurt. Seneca encouraged us to give love first, if we want to be loved. Imagine you are a gardener who nourishes a fertile soil with words. With every mindful communication, you build stronger relationships. Principle 47. Respectful acceptance of differences. The world is a mosaic of perspectives, and respectful acceptance of differences is the mortar that holds it together. The Stoics valued diversity and encouraged tolerance. Epictetus emphasized that we must first know who we want to be before we can understand others. Imagine you are an observer of a colorful work of art. Every difference adds to the beauty of the whole. Principle 48. The power of gratitude. Gratitude turns everyday moments into small miracles. The Stoics recognized that a grateful mind gives us peace and contentment. Marcus Aurelius invited us to begin each morning with the thought of the privilege of living. Imagine your life is a glass. By filling it with gratitude, you realize how full it is. Gratitude helps us see the beauty in the ordinary and fill our days with joy. Principle 49. Patience in the pursuit of knowledge. Acquiring knowledge is not a rush, but a journey that requires patience and dedication. Stoicism teaches us that true understanding comes through persistence and reflection. Seneca's words remind us how much time we waste when we lose ourselves in impatience and superficiality. Imagine you are a gardener planting a tree. The tree's growth cannot be accelerated, but with consistent care it will become deeply rooted and strong. Patience in the search for knowledge allows us to deepen topics, recognize connections, and gain true wisdom. This practice not only strengthens our intellect, but also our character, as it teaches us humility and resilience. Principle 50. Recognition of interdependence. We are all part of a larger whole, a symbiotic world in which our actions have far-reaching consequences. The Stoics understood that no one is completely independent. Our lives are inextricably intertwined with those of others. Epictetus's advice reminds us that we should focus on what is within our control while considering the interconnections of our actions. Imagine that humanity is a network of rivers that together feed the great sea of life. The practice of recognizing interdependence encourages us to act with compassion and responsibility. It invites us to consciously perceive our role in the community and to make our contribution to the well-being of all. A legacy of wisdom Stoic philosophy is like a lighthouse that guides us through the mists of life. Its timeless principles are not just theoretical concepts, but practical tools we can use to face the challenges of modern life with poise and strength. Past and present are connected in their wisdom. The insights of Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius offer us orientation in a world that often appears complex and chaotic. At the heart of Stoicism is the ability to distinguish between what we can control and what is beyond our power. This simple but transformative thought allows us to live our lives more consciously and fulfillingly. By cultivating virtues such as patience, gratitude, and humility, we become more resilient and find peace in the midst of the storm. The journey. Through 50 principles, as we have progressed through the 50 Stoic principles, we have seen how profoundly they can change the way we think and act. We learned the importance of developing discipline and self-control, practicing generosity and kindness, and recognizing the beauty in simplicity. These principles remind us that the search for wisdom is not a destination, but a lifelong process, a journey that is enriched with each reflection and application. The connection to modern psychology shows that these ancient teachings are more relevant than ever. They give us tools to balance our lives, deepen our relationships, and strengthen our sense of fulfillment. An invitation to reflection. Stoicism is an invitation to make our lives more conscious and meaningful. Keep returning to these principles, reflecting on them, and sharing them with others. Make them a part of your daily practice by taking time to reflect on their meaning and apply it to your challenges and goals. Thank you for taking the time to accompany this journey. As you apply these principles to your life, you will not only find inner peace and strength, but also a deeper understanding of the connections that unite us all. Stoicism doesn't just offer wisdom, it's a compass that helps us navigate our lives with clarity and purpose. If you liked the content, share your thoughts and impressions. Your participation and feedback means a lot to me. I look forward to hearing from you and hope these principles inspire you on your journey to a more fulfilling life.